2.
Welcome back to Mo Big Blue. Hit the like and subscribe button down low. In this episode, we review the 2025 schedule. We give my record prediction for the 2025 season, a special black quarterback tribute this Labor Day weekend. So the captains for the 2025 season is Dexter Lawrence, Russell Wilson, Brian Burns also steps up as a captain role, Bobby Okereke, and Darius Slayton, number 18, who now steps into a captain role. Okay, looking at the schedule, this is brutal. We're not looking at last year's rosters or last year's results. We're not looking at last year's teams. We're looking at the optimized version of our team this season and thus far what I've seen as far as the offseason moves in various teams throughout this schedule. If you look at week 1, game is against the Washington Commanders. Russell won there last year when he was in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. I have no doubt that he can win there this year. In that Giant uniform, I feel we win week 1 just because of some of the turmoil that's been happening in the Washington camp. I understand Terry McLaurin just signed 2 weeks ago. I don't know what shape he's going to be in, but I feel we, Big Blue, come out with a win. Week 2 at Dallas. With all the turmoil there, I believe it's safe to say I'm a little more confident in us than I am in Dallas right now. I believe week 2, we come away with a win. So that leaves us at 2-0 going into the game against Kansas City. At home, first game against Kansas City. Listen, we're playing against probably one of the best teams in the NFL these past 5 to 6 years. Pat Mahomes, I believe they come away with a win. This will probably be our first loss of the season. After that game, we play against the Chargers. The Charger game at home, I believe we bounce back to win our 3rd game of the season. Then we on the road to New Orleans against the Saints. I believe we come away with a win in that game as well. Now, after we play the Saints, we play against Philly. This is a Thursday night game in a short turnaround. I believe we lose the first time we play against Philly, so have our 2nd loss of the season. Then we go away to Denver. I believe we pull out a win in Denver, win one for the Gipper, kind of a situation for Russell Wilson. Then I believe we play Philly again in the second time around. Second time around again, I feel that we do lose that game against Philadelphia, and I believe that loss carries over into the following week against San Francisco, and I believe we lose a close game to San Francisco at home. I believe we bounce back with a win on the road against Chicago, and then I believe that carries over into the win against Green Bay. We're at Detroit. I believe we're going to go into that game and come out possibly with a loss. It's a tough road game. It's a tough back-to-back matchup from Green Bay to Detroit. Then we're at New England. New England's a little bit in the rebuild situation. They're still trying to figure out who they are. I think by this time of the year, we would have established who we are. And I believe that we walk away with a win coming out of New England. Then for the second time around against Washington, I think we got the better of them the first time. I think the second time, I think Washington will get us. So we split the season with Washington. And then the following week against Minnesota, I believe that's too tight of a turnaround to play a Minnesota Viking team. I believe we lose against Minnesota. And then we go on the road to Las Vegas and play the Raiders. I believe we could win that game against Las Vegas. And then we play Dallas to close out the season. I believe we win that game as well. If we're going back through my wins and loss column, I have us at a 10-7 prediction. I think this is very, very much feasible. Our defense has been completely reconstructed. Our pass rush defenses should be a lot better this year. So long as we are bearing no injuries, this team should be a lot better in 2025. I really wish we would do something with our uniforms. Like, this is New York City. This is New York. This is the New York Giants. The colors are red, white, and blue, so that's very, very easy to come up with something. We need some type of redesign. At least bring back the Giants logo on the helmet, something. But if you look at the uniform schedule, we're in our traditional home blues for the first 4 weeks. Then we switch it up a little bit with our whites against the Saints, and we come back to our blues against Philly. We don't really switch up our jerseys until the legacy game against San Francisco, where we wear our legacy blues. Then we wear our vintage whites against Chicago, and then again against Green Bay. And then we come back and wear our legacy blues one more time to close out the year against Washington. So my special black quarterback segment. This is a clip of a great documentary that's on Prime Video, just discussing the history of the black quarterback in the NFL. Last year was the first time in Super Bowl history that they had two quarterbacks of color start in Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. I'm so looking forward to seeing what Russell Wilson can do with this roster as he comes towards the latter part of his career. We're not looking for Russ to be the Russ that cooked in Seattle, but if he can be a good game manager and to protect the football, I believe Russ can be definitely productive in the Dayball offense. Jameis Winston also comes over as the backup, but before them, Tyrod Taylor got a start in 2023, and before him, Geno Smith got a start in 2017. So this is not the first opportunity this organization has had. Back in 1994, Charlie Ward, a dual threat athlete professionally, as far as in the NBA and the NFL, he definitely had the talent to play in both leagues. He was later on drafted by the New York Knicks, but Charlie Ward was a Heisman Trophy winner in 1993 coming out of college playing for Florida State. He had the opportunity to be drafted by the Giants. He notified NFL teams saying, hey, I can go either way, but if you were to draft me in the NFL for me to play, I would like to be drafted in the first round. That's no knock against him. He was the Heisman Trophy winner in college. He was selected as being the best college football player that season. We needed help at quarterback that year as well. But that year, we had Kent Graham and we had Dave Brown as our quarterbacks. Dave Brown had his struggles during that season in 1994. We came out 3-0 during the season. However, we lost 7 games straight. Dave Brown was benched for Kent Graham to come in. Kent Graham put a string of 6 wins together. So we ended the season at 9-7 back when before it was just 16 games in the regular season and not the 17 that it is now. So during the change to Kent Graham, we started performing well. That gave us more insight to saying, hey, maybe we should have drafted a quarterback. That year, we did draft Thomas Lewis, the wide receiver return man out of Indiana. Thomas Lewis had a solid rookie campaign. But during that era and that time frame in the NFL, there was a shift coming in at the start of all the black quarterback talk. Warren Moon was already in the league. Randall Cunningham was already in the league. Could you imagine a division with Randall Cunningham and Charlie Ward having a battle in the NFC East? That would have been crazy. But if you look at the other talent that just followed him, Steve McNair and Cordell Stewart also entered the league around those times. There was a shift at the position. You started to see more and more mobile quarterbacks taking over. Steve Young was another mobile quarterback dual threat in the league at that time. So you started to see more and more teams coming to that type of liking for their prototypical quarterback. Quarterbacks that have taken the punches for guys to now start for this organization, we thank you very much. All right. I think a lot of times we lose that factor amongst generation to generation to also remember that people that did it before you and not the people that are doing it with you or doing it after you, okay? The people that did it before you paved the way for you to do what you do today. So salute to all you guys. All right, y'all. Listen, that's my prediction. I think we go 10-7. Do we make the playoffs? I don't know. We shall see. Definitely an improvement based off the last 5 years, especially big improvement based off of last year. I'll see you guys for the Week 1 preview against the Washington Commanders. Peace.
1, 2.